Imagine a world without fast food, online shopping, or smartphones. Hard to picture, right? Some of the most successful business ideas started as small sparks, tiny flickers of innovation that grew into roaring fires, changing the way we live, work, and communicate. But have you ever wondered what makes a business idea truly revolutionary? Why do some companies fail while others grow into billion-dollar empires? In this 5-part series, we'll explore the stories behind some of the most successful business ideas in history, ideas that not only made their founders rich but also transformed entire industries. And who knows? Maybe this journey will inspire your own billion-dollar idea. It all started with two brothers, Richard and Maurice McDonald, in San Bernardino, California, in the 1940s. They ran a small drive-in restaurant that served classic American food, burgers, fries, and milkshakes. But business was slow. There were too many restaurants doing the same thing, and competition was fierce. So, the McDonald brothers did something radical. They reinvented their entire business model. Instead of running a typical diner, they introduced a speedy service system, a revolutionary way to prepare food. Instead of waiters serving meals, customers ordered at a counter, and their food was ready within minutes. The brothers focused on 3 things: speed, consistency, and affordability. Their restaurant quickly became a local sensation. Lines stretched around the block. But it was just a small operation until Ray Kroc entered the picture. Kroc was a struggling milkshake machine salesman in his early 50s when he discovered the McDonald brothers restaurant. He was amazed by their efficiency. He saw something the McDonald's didn't, a potential goldmine. Kroc convinced the brothers to let him franchise the brand. But he had a bigger vision. He didn't just want a few McDonald's locations, he wanted a McDonald's empire. Through relentless marketing, innovation, and aggressive expansion, Kroc turned McDonald's into a global phenomenon. Today, McDonald's serves over 69 million customers daily in more than 100 countries. But McDonald's wasn't just about food, it was about systems, branding, and real estate. Kroc focused not only on selling burgers but also on acquiring prime locations for each restaurant. That's right, McDonald's became one of the largest real estate owners in the world. The lesson? Sometimes a simple idea done exceptionally well can change everything. In 1994, Jeff Bezos, a Wall Street hedge fund executive, made a life-changing decision. He read a report that predicted internet usage would grow by 2,300% annually. Bezos saw an opportunity, an online bookstore. With a $300,000 investment from his parents, Bezos quit his high-paying job, moved to Seattle, and started Amazon from his garage. His goal? To build the world's largest bookstore. Amazon's early days were chaotic. Packages were packed on the floor. Servers crashed constantly. But Bezos was relentless. He reinvested every dollar back into the business. And soon, Amazon wasn't just about books, it was about everything. Today, Amazon is worth over $1.5 trillion. It revolutionized shopping, logistics, and cloud computing. The key to Bezos' success? Customer obsession, constant innovation, and thinking long-term. We've already seen how McDonald's revolutionized fast food and how Amazon transformed online shopping. But the world of business is full of more incredible stories, ideas that started small but became unstoppable forces. In this part, we'll dive into 2 more groundbreaking business ideas, Apple and Airbnb. In the mid-1970s, 2 college dropouts, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, started building computers in a garage. Their goal? To make computers accessible to everyday people. At the time, computers were massive, expensive machines used mainly by scientists and big corporations. But Jobs and Wozniak had a different vision. They believed that personal computing would be the future. With just a few $100s, they built the first Apple I computer. It was a simple wooden box with a keyboard and a screen, nothing fancy but revolutionary for its time. Then came the Apple II, which turned out to be a huge success. But the real game-changer was the Macintosh, launched in 1984. It introduced the world to the graphical user interface, icons, windows, and a mouse instead of complicated text commands. However, Apple's journey wasn't always smooth. Jobs was forced out of his own company in 1985, and Apple nearly collapsed without his leadership. But in 1997, he returned, bringing with him a fresh wave of innovation. Then came the iMac, the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad. The iPhone, launched in 2007, changed everything. It wasn't just a phone, it was a computer, camera, music player, and internet browser all in one. It redefined how we communicate, work, and entertain ourselves. Today, Apple is worth over $2.5 trillion. The company's success lies in its obsession with design, innovation, and user experience. Steve Jobs' philosophy was simple: build products people don't even realize they need until they can't live without them. The lesson? Innovation isn't just about creating new things, it's about making things better, simpler, and more accessible. In 2007, two broke roommates in San Francisco, Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia, were struggling to pay their rent. A big design conference was coming to town and hotels were fully booked. That's when they had an idea. What if they rented out air mattresses in their apartment to visitors? They created a simple website called Airbed and Breakfast, offering a cheap and friendly alternative to hotels. 3 guests booked their air mattresses and Airbnb was born. At first, no one took them seriously. Investors laughed at the idea of strangers staying in each other's homes. But Chesky and Gebbia believed in their vision. They realized that people didn't just want cheap accommodation, they wanted unique travel experiences. They improved their website, expanded to more cities, and made it easier for hosts to list their spaces. Slowly, people began to trust the platform. Then, in 2009, they brought in their third co-founder, Nathan Blecherczyk, who helped Airbnb scale rapidly. Soon, the company went from a small startup to a global travel giant. Today, Airbnb is worth over $100 billion with millions of listings in almost every country. It didn't just disrupt hotels, it created a new way of traveling. The key to Airbnb's success? It solved a real problem, built trust between strangers, and adapted to market needs. We'll explore more business ideas that changed the world, including Tesla and Netflix. These companies didn't just follow trends, they created them. So far, we've explored how McDonald's changed fast food, Amazon transformed online shopping, Apple revolutionized technology, and Airbnb reshaped travel. But some of the most disruptive business ideas came from people who weren't afraid to challenge entire industries. We'll look at Tesla and Netflix, 2 companies that defied expectations and created the future before the world was ready for it. For most of the 20th century, electric cars were considered a joke. Gasoline-powered vehicles dominated the roads and automakers had no interest in changing the status quo. But then came Elon Musk, a man with a vision that seemed almost impossible. Tesla wasn't originally Musk's company. It was founded in 2003 by engineers Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning, but Musk joined early as an investor, pouring in millions of his own money. He saw a future where cars wouldn't need gasoline and could be fully electric, fast, and luxurious. But there was a problem. Electric cars had a terrible reputation, they were slow, unreliable, and had very limited battery life. So, Tesla had to prove the world wrong. The company started with the Tesla Roadster in 2008, a sports car that could go 245 miles on a single charge. It wasn't cheap, but it showed that electric cars could be cool and powerful. Then came the Model S, a sleek, high-performance sedan that shattered expectations. It was fast, safe, and had cutting-edge technology. Tesla didn't stop there. They built an entire supercharger network to solve the problem of charging. But the real game-changer was the Model 3, a more affordable electric car. It became one of the best-selling cars in the world, proving that the future of transportation was electric. Today, Tesla is worth over $600 billion and has forced the entire auto industry to shift toward electric vehicles. Traditional car companies like Ford, GM, and Volkswagen are now investing billions into electric technology, all because Tesla proved it was possible. The lesson? The best business ideas challenge what people think is impossible and then make it reality. Remember when you had to go to a Blockbuster store to rent a movie? You'd walk in, browse the shelves, pick a DVD, and hope you returned it on time to avoid late fees. That all changed when 2 entrepreneurs, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, started Netflix in 1997. At first, Netflix was just a DVD rental service, but with a twist. Instead of going to a store, customers could order DVDs online and have them delivered to their homes. It was a great idea, but Blockbuster still ruled the industry. In fact, in 2000, Hastings offered to sell Netflix to Blockbuster for $50 million. Blockbuster laughed at the offer and said Netflix was a niche business. Big mistake. Netflix kept innovating. In 2007, they shifted to streaming, allowing people to watch movies and TV shows online instead of waiting for DVDs in the mail. This move completely changed the way people consumed entertainment. Then Netflix did something even bigger, they started creating their own original content. Shows like House of Cards, Stranger Things, and The Crown turned Netflix from a tech company into a media empire. Today, Netflix is worth over $200 billion, and Blockbuster? It's dead killed by the very company it ignored. The lesson? Success comes from seeing where the world is going and getting there first. We'll explore two more groundbreaking business ideas, Facebook and Uber. Companies that redefined how we connect and move around the world. We've already covered how companies like Tesla, Netflix, and Apple revolutionized their industries. But what about businesses that changed the way we connect and move? In this part, we'll dive into two more billion-dollar ideas, Facebook and Uber, companies that didn't just create services but transformed human behavior itself. Before Facebook, social networking was a mess. Platforms like MySpace and Friendster existed, but they were clunky and full of spam. Then, in 2004, a Harvard student named Mark Zuckerberg launched the Facebook, a simple website where college students could create profiles and connect with classmates. At first, it was exclusive to Harvard. Then it expanded to other Ivy League schools. Then to universities across the US. Within a year, Facebook had over 1 million users. Zuckerberg realized that people crave connection, not just with close friends, but with old classmates, colleagues, and even strangers. He saw Facebook as more than just a website, it was a global communication platform. Over time, Facebook introduced features that changed digital interaction. The newsfeed 2006 made social updates automatic. The like button 2009 turned engagement into a simple click. The mobile app 2011 made Facebook always accessible. Acquiring Instagram and WhatsApp 2012 and 2014 expanded Facebook's empire. Today, Facebook, now Meta, owns multiple platforms and has over 3 billion users worldwide. It redefined how we communicate, market businesses, and even consume news. The lesson? People don't just want products. They want experiences that connect them to the world. There was a time when calling a taxi meant standing on a street corner and hoping for the best. If you were lucky, you'd get a cab. If not, you'd be stuck waiting. Two entrepreneurs, Travis Kalanick and Garrett Camp, saw this problem firsthand in 2008 when they struggled to find a ride in Paris. They asked a simple question. What if you could order a ride with just a tap on your phone? That's how Uber was born. They built an app where people could request a ride, and nearby drivers, who weren't professional taxi drivers, could pick them up. At first, the idea seemed crazy. How could people trust strangers to drive them? How would they pay? Uber solved these problems by using GPS tracking to show exactly where drivers were, introducing cashless payments through the app, implementing a rating system to ensure safety. When Uber launched in 2010, it exploded in popularity. Suddenly, taxis seemed outdated. Uber was faster, cheaper, and way more convenient. By 2015, Uber was in over 300 cities. Today, it operates in over 10,000 cities worldwide and is worth more than $80 billion. Uber didn't just change the way people got rides, it created an entire gig economy, where anyone with a car could make money on their own schedule. The lesson? Disrupting an outdated industry with technology can lead to massive success. We've explored the groundbreaking stories of McDonald's, Amazon, Apple, Airbnb, Tesla, Netflix, Facebook, and Uber. Companies that didn't just succeed, but changed the world. But what do all these businesses have in common? What separates them from the thousands of ideas that fail every year? In this final part, we'll break down the key lessons behind the most successful business ideas and how you can apply them to your own journey. Every successful business idea starts with a problem that needs solving. Amazon solved the problem of slow, inconvenient shopping by bringing stores online. Uber solved the problem of unreliable taxis by making ride-sharing seamless. Airbnb solved the problem of expensive hotels and lack of lodging options by letting people rent out their homes. The takeaway? If you want to build something big, start by asking, what problem am I solving? Jeff Bezos started Amazon in a garage, selling only books before expanding into everything. Facebook was just for Harvard students before growing into a global platform. McDonald's was just a single restaurant before becoming the world's largest fast food chain. Successful companies start small, test their ideas, and then scale up. If you're working on a business idea, don't worry about conquering the world on day one. Focus on building something great for a small audience first. Even the best ideas can fail if they don't adapt to change. Netflix started as a DVD rental service, but when streaming became the future, they shifted before Blockbuster could. Apple was a struggling computer company before Steve Jobs returned and turned it into a tech empire with the iPod, iPhone, and iPad. Tesla faced skepticism, but by constantly improving battery life and self-driving technology, it forced the auto industry to evolve. Innovation is a moving target. The best companies stay ahead by predicting what's next and adapting quickly. The most successful businesses don't just sell products, they create experiences. Apple products are famous for their sleek design and user-friendly experience. Tesla cars aren't just electric. They're fun to drive and packed with cutting-edge features. Amazon's obsession with customer service turned it into the biggest online retailer in the world. If you want to build something people love, focus on making their lives easier, better, or more enjoyable. Many billion-dollar ideas failed before they succeeded because they were too early or too late. Facebook wasn't the first social network, but it launched at a time when the internet was becoming mainstream. Airbnb launched during a recession, when people were looking for extra income by renting out their homes. Tesla took off when climate concerns and rising gas prices made electric cars more appealing. A great idea at the wrong time can fail, but an average idea at the perfect time can become massive. Every big company we've talked about started with one person or a small team who saw an opportunity before anyone else. Maybe your idea could be the next game changer. Maybe you have the vision to build something that will change lives. The world is full of problems waiting to be solved. The question is, what problem will you solve?